Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am going to discuss John Keats as a pure poet. In order to discuss John Keats as a pure poet, we must know what does a pure poet mean. A pure poet is a poet in whose poetry we do not find any message. A pure poet is just a poet and nothing else. That is, he is not a teacher, preacher, and reformer. He does not carry any spiritual message in his poetry. Now, keeping in view the meaning of pure poet, let us see whether John Keats fulfills the requirements of a pure poet or not. Discussion. Number first, Keats is a pure poet because in his poetry we do not see any spiritual message. In Wordsworth's poetry, we see nature as a living being with power to influence the human mind and carrying a spiritual message, but Keats does not attribute any moral life to nature. Similarly, we do not see any political or revolutionary ideas in Keats' poetry as we see in the poetry of P.B. Shelley. Number second, Keats is a pure poet in the sense that in his poetry, he is a poet and nothing else. He is not a teacher, not a preacher, not a conscious carrier of any spiritual message. His ambition is to become a poet, pure and simple, and his ambition is fulfilled. Poetry came naturally to him as leaves come to a tree. Poetry for Keats is the spontaneous utterances of his powerful feelings. He expresses what he sees. He listens to the music of the song of nightingale, and that music transports him to the world of imagination. Number third, Keats was a pure poet because he had the capacity to see and to feel both foul and fair, joy and sorrow, and mean and noble alike. Number 4. Keats was a pure poet in the sense that Keats identified himself with the thing he saw or heard. Keats was of the opinion that a poet had no identity. He always becomes a part of the body about which he writes. Keats described things as they were. He became part and parcel of those things. For example, when Keats is writing about the nightingale, Keats and the nightingale become one. Point number 5. Keats is a pure poet because in his poetry we do not see moral teaching or didactism. Keats was of the opinion that a poet must do good, but he must do so by being a poet and not by being a teacher. He leaves his work to speak for themselves. Point number 6. Keats is a pure poet because he had no theory to propagate. He had one theory, and that was the theory of beauty. So, it is also the quality of a pure poet that he will not propagate a message or theory. So, in short, we can say that John Keats is a pure poet because he fulfills all the conditions and requirements of a pure poet. So, it was all about the topic John Keats is a pure poet. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.